Hello everyone, this is Serious Trivia and welcome back to a 5-part series covering the skills tree of generic characters in the game. This video is part 2 and will be covering the Commander class. If you missed the part 1 covering champions, please don't forget to go back and check it out. Now, let's jump straight into the skill tree. All generic commanders will have the same skill tree as the one shown here. You always start with one of these 3 active or passive abilities at level 1 and one additional skill that is linked by the lines to your starting skill. After that, you will gain a new skill point with each level up, and you can unlock any new abilities as long as they can be connected to existing skills. Since your character's build will always be anchored by which of the 3 active or passive abilities you start with, we'll start this guide by focusing on these 3 abilities. In the order that they appear on the skill tree, we have Stone Bulwark, Unyielding Earth, and Nature's Ally. Stone Bulwark is an active ability that grants all nearby units within a 75 meter range a 100% additional range block chance for 30 seconds, and the often forgotten bonus of granting those same units unbreakable for the same duration. This is a powerful ability and one that has a long cooldown of 120 seconds. There are a few uses for this ability. You can activate this ability on your charging allies to spare them from enemy range damage as they charge. You can also apply the buff to your own archers as they trade shots with enemy archers. Lastly, you can use this abilities on your wavering infantry to push them to continue the fight instead of routing by granting them unbreakable. Next, we have Unyielding Earth. This is another active ability that buffs units for 30 seconds with the same range, duration, and cooldown as the Stone Bulwark. Unyielding Earth grants your units a 1,900% increase in charge resistance and an additional 100% increase in melee evasion, and unbreakable. The primary use of this ability is to protect your frontline units as the enemy come charging into your lines. Lastly, we have Nature's Ally, which is a passive ability, limited by a 75 meter range. It grants all units within that range 25% movement speed plus 10 points in morale, and ignores forest penalties, which refers to the movement penalties in the forest. This is best used when you're trying to sneak your cavalry units through the forest for a sneaky rare charge. It can also be used to run away from enemy cavalry units by running through the forest area unimpeded. Now that we have discussed these 3 active and passive abilities, let's continue by looking at the 6 skills attached to them as shown here. Now, these 6 skills are all authority skills in that they provide only authority stats. The 2 skills in the middle are also commander unique skills, while the other 4 you can find in other classes. Once again, in the order they appear on the skill tree, the 6 skills are Mobility, Clarity, Meditation, Nobility, Perception, and Stability. Let's dig into all of these. Mobility increases 10 morale points when attacking if the commander also happened to be a commanding officer for an army, aka the leftmost general in an army group. It also adds 25% battle running speed to your own retinue. The battle running speed synergizes well with the commander's melee cavalry units, which require speed to flank enemy range units and speed to charge into enemy formations. Next, we have Clarity. Clarity reduces building upkeep by 25% when the commander is administrator, and it adds 50% line of sight to help spot distant enemy units on the battlefield and on the campaign map. Meditation enables Unbreakable. This is a permanent buff to just the commander himself. This is potentially game-breaking because with this, you can never lose a defensive fight, as you can retreat all your other units and just have your commander run around the battlefield until the timer hits 0, because Unbreakable prevents any morale damage and prevents routing. Meditation also provides 10 points to morale when defending if the commander is also the commanding officer of the army. Next, we have Nobility. This adds 1 assignment slot if the commander is also a faction leader, heir, or prime minister. This is an important reason why the commander makes great leader, heir, or prime minister, as assignment slots are extremely valuable. Nobility also adds 20% range block chance for melee cavalry, who already has a high range block chance of 65%, thus making them the best sponges for range damage at 85%, which matches saber infantry only when those infantry use shield wall formations. Perception enables ignore force penalty permanently to the commander and its retinue units. It also increases the chance of avoiding ambush in its own army by 25%. Lastly, we have stability, which unlocks the counteract corruption assignment and increases public order by 5 if the commander is also administrator. Now that we talked about all the authority skills, let's turn our focus to the other 6 skills that's on the commander's skill tree. These 6 skills are intensity, flexibility, dignity, zeal, composure, and understanding. As you can see from the color code and the stats being boosted, these are skills taken from other classes. Intensity and dignity both provide instinct, so they are vanguard skills. Zeal and understanding both provide expertise, so they're sentinel skills, while flexibility is a champion skill and exposure is a strategist skill. Every class have 3 active and passive skills, 6 skills focus on their primary stat, and 6 skills borrow from other classes. We'll not be discussing these skills in detail here as we did for the 6 authority skills earlier, because we don't want to repeat ourselves here since these skills will be all discussed as part of their own class. For example, we already talked about flexibility in part 1 when we were covering champions. So instead, we'll take a more detailed look at all the different buffs a commander can receive from all their skills sorted by different roles. Here I have listed all the buffs commanders can receive as a commanding officer in the army, as administrator of a commandery, as leader, heir, or prime minister, and others, which include items like enabling abilities, own army boost, own retinue boost, or just buffs to the commander himself. Looking at the list, we can first eliminate commanders as commanding officers of armies. This seems a bit ironic given that they're named commanders, but without key skills like reach, which increases campaign map movement range, it is better to save the commanding officer position for other classes. Next, we can also see that commanders make poor administrators, as they can only provide a little public order and upkeep cost reduction. Where commanders really shine is their ability as faction leader, heir, or prime minister. They possess redeployment discounts, which can help you teleport your armies for free in the late game from one side of the map to the other. They add extra assignments, which are powerful boosts to your commanderies, and they increase rank for all new recruit, which will strengthen your army and increase the value of your new recruits. Not to mention their key stat of authority increases faction satisfaction. Here, I have highlighted some of the key skills needed for effective leader, heir, or prime minister. Alternatively, commanders make great generals because of all the potential buff they can bring to an army. Their melee cavalry can perform dual roles as a frontline range tank and backline harasser. Their high authority stat increases morale, which is the true measure of HP for retinue units. Here I have presented the best full build commander for the battlefield. I hope you find this guide helpful, and I hope you enjoy the video. If so, please remember to like, subscribe, and comment below to support this channel. The next part of this series will be covering vanguards and will drop tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. Hope you have an awesome day. Bye.